good, everybody? Brant here with CPC Bodybuilding, the best channel in men's classic physique. Today, we've got a preview of the Texas Pro Men's Classic Physique Division. And who better to have on than an IFBB Classic Physique Pro, James Anthony. James, welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, Brand. It's been a long time, man. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, man, me too. Got a hell of a lineup to preview. Got 33 guys, and James and I are going to talk about a select few of those athletes, some of the Olympians, some of the up and coming guys, as well as the guys making their pro debuts for this very exciting classic physique show with an Olympia qualification on the line. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into stuff. But before we do, I want to make sure that you guys can find James here on socials, show him some love. So his tag here is James Anthony _ IFBB Pro. James, you got any sponsors or people you want to shout out?
Yes, sir. Sponsored by Leica Pro Supplements. My guy, IFBB Pro Jeff Long. They're the best supplements in the game, guys. If you want the best stuff that's got no proprietary blends, it's straightforward, it's high quality stuff. I mean, Leica Pro, take it from a pro, is the best stuff for you. So try out Jeff Long. Appreciate you, buddy. Leica Pro. They're my guys.
Awesome, man. So yeah, make sure you guys go give James a follow there and use his codes, support him. He'll be making his pro debut sometime next year. And James just recently won his pro card in Class D at NPC Nationals. Took home that national championship in that class. So pretty exciting stuff. And without further ado, guys, we're going to get into the lineup. Before we do, make sure you guys follow me here for all the classic updates. CPC Bodybuilding is where you can find them. Like I said, lineups, show results, physique updates, you name it, it's all there. So, Texas Pro lineup, we'll roll through these and then we'll go get into the show details and then some of the athletes. So, starting out here, we got Gabriel Aguirre, Yashar Anbari, Danko Bay Anderson, the Black Panther, Zay Anyasor, Chase Bergner, Colin Brannigan, Joe Bridey, Rashad Brooks, Alex Cambronero, Dom Carter, Alex Connors, Tony Davis, Austin Espy, Dino Estrada, Carl Gautier, Tommy Harmer-Tran, Brad Helm, George Kowalawu, Laszlo Corrali, John Lofthouse, Jesus Martinez, Mateus Menegate, Lamarcus Morris, Kelvin Ojibor, Olushoma Oni, Kennedy Onochi, Raymond Petty, Hamza Saeed, Zach Smith, Jimmy Tonkinson, Alexander Westermeyer, Gabriel Zoncanelli, and finally Ben Zimmerman. So those are our 33 classic physique athletes, probably the deepest show of the entire year thus far. Talent from top to bottom. It's really exciting. James, what are your thoughts just immediately looking at this lineup, man?
Man, we're looking at, I believe, five Olympians in this lineup, maybe six, and that's just ridiculous. I believe this is probably the most competitive show of the year thus far as classic. I mean, you've got guys proven, battle tested at the highest level, classic physique, competitors of the Olympia. You've got guys making their pro debut that's highly anticipated, and you've got guys trying to break through to that proven level. So I mean, it's three different types to me, and that makes it all exciting. So it's going to be a very competitive show, and it's a great contest put on by Battle Up Productions. I mean, those folks down in Texas, DFW, they know how to do it, and I'll tell you what, it's a great production. The athletes love the show. I've heard nothing but great things about the Texas Pro, and I think we're going to see them show it out.
Yeah, exciting, man. So, Texas Pro is going to be this upcoming Friday, August 9th. So, show info, we've got prejudging beginning at 9 a.m. Central Time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern Time for those of you on the East Coast. Then we've also got finals starting at 4 p.m. Central Time. So, those are the times you need to know. And not 100% sure, but since Classic Physique is listed as the first of these pro divisions, my guess is that they will be up first. That's not confirmed, but generally that's how it works with these orders of shows. So Classic might be up first, so tune in. Make sure you guys are watching at those times. There is going to be a live stream as well. You guys could go to the homepage here of Battle Up Productions, and you'll see here in the red live stream coming soon. So make sure you guys look out for that. It's not posted yet, but they usually do it about the day before the show. So be on the lookout for that. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump into our lineup. So our first competitor is Gabriel Aguirre out of Mexico. So his most recent appearance was at the NPC Extreme. So this is the Extreme Pro in Tijuana, Mexico. So Gabriel's definitely one of Mexico's top IFBB pros. James, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at some of his photos, but what do you think makes Gabriel classic, man?
What makes him classic is he looks he's pretty well balanced. I mean, he's got legs, especially from the front, great arms, and his waist is pretty snatched. I think his waist is small in these photos. Um, I think he's got a pretty good class of physique. I mean, he could use a little more size in those areas, but I think with his shape right now, I mean, he's pro ready. He's got decent size. He looks like he's probably on the shorter side. I don't know his height, but for what his height is, I think he's got a pretty good structure.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys who really just controls the condition as well. Like this guy comes in peeled and
Yeah,
he has really good structure as well.
I think he's got a really strong front double bicep.
Mhm. Yeah, these are just some recent photos from his most recent showing. And I think what really stands out to me is what you said, the balance, the proportion. That's so important in classic, extremely vital. He's not one of those guys who has like a standout body part, like a signature body part, but he's just
Yeah,
very well put together and just very sound. I think that's probably the best way I would describe Gabriel.
yeah, that's a good description.
Yeah. So that is Gabriel Aguirre out of Mexico. Next up, we got the Black Panther, Dankove Anderson out of Texas. So he's definitely no stranger to Texas shows. Danny's done quite a few Texas shows, and James, um, I mean, I know you've seen Black Panther before, man.
Oh yeah.
What are some of the things that stand out to you about him?
Honestly, and I'm gonna throw it back here, Brant. I don't know if you remember this name. Do you remember Brian Buchanan?
Oh yeah, dude, tiny waist.
Brian, that this is the modern day version of Brian Buchanan. I mean, this guy. I don't want to butcher his name, Denkovia. Hopefully, that's how you pronounce it. But I
Dankove,
mean,
yeah.
his waist is just out of this world. I mean, he's got such a small waist that it makes the rest of him look massive, and it's just it's not that he isn't massive. It's just classic physique sometimes is about creating that illusion, and he's a master of it. And I can't speak highly enough about this guy. And there's a misconception out there. I think that short guys have a disadvantage in classic physique, and I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe in that. I think if you're put together, regardless of your height, I mean, look at this guy. If you're put together, you're gonna make noise in classic physique. And this guy, sooner or later, he's gonna be an Olympian, and he's gonna be in that top 15 at the Olympian.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, man. He's been to the Olympia twice before. He hasn't placed, however, but
Gotcha.
I mean, he's so well put together. There's
It's
not
it's
one single body part that's missing. He's got width, density, great structure. Like, I think really the only thing that he has left to really put together is just nailing the peak. That's it, man.
yeah.
And that's like just trial and error at that point. I mean, I've spoken about him countless times and just kind of went on about how highly I think of him just because I really think if he nails his peak, because I think there is just a little bit more hardness that he can bring. Some people think it's like a condition thing. And, at some shows in the past, I would say it probably has. Now with Tampa, the difference between his prejudging and finals look told me that it wasn't a condition thing. In fact, it was actually probably a hardness thing and just filling out a little bit more, I would say. Simply because he came back at finals just looked amazing, dude. Like if he would have brought the finals look, I think he would have probably beat Zoncanelli and maybe even pushed Justin a little bit. Um,
I
so I,
totally agree with you.
I think this guy, he could win the show, man. Nails the peak, he could win the
He's
show.
got he's got a chance to win this whole show.
Yeah,
Definitely
he's
has a chance to win the
very
whole show.
good. Yeah. So that is Dankove Anderson, the Black Panther. Next up, we got probably the most seasoned veteran in this lineup, the only guy here who has ever won an Arnold Classic title. We've got Alex Cambronero out of Costa Rica. So, James, what makes Alex so special, man?
Alex is a proven guy. He's been around for quite a while, and he's highly decorated. I mean, he's a Masters Olympia champion. He's a Arnold Classic champion. I mean, look at this guy. His chest is fantastic. He's got almost an Arnold-esque chest, and it's just he's put together, man. He's got it all. I think what it is with him is he's got to bring that conditioning, and he's got the structure, he's got the muscle, he's got everything that you need to win this show. It comes down to conditioning. If he can bring the conditioning that he brings at the Olympia, at the Arnold, at the Masters Olympia, I mean, he has every right to that first place trophy here, but he's got to bring it.
Yeah, completely agree with you, man. I love Alex's look, dude. Just he's one of those guys who just doesn't miss, and he
He
works with
doesn't.
Neil Hill, and every time they do a show together, like it's just
He's
conditions
he's a
bang on.
he's a proven commodity, and it's
Mhm.
hard to bet against somebody like that.
Exactly, man. You know exactly what you're gonna get every time.
Yep.
So that is Alex Cambronero out of Costa Rica. Our next competitor, this is Dom Carter, Mr. Universe this year in Class D. So same class you turned pro in, James. This is the quote unquote avatar class, the big boys. So you've seen Dom, some of the photos from Universe and whatnot. I love the guy's structure. What do you think of him?
Yeah. Brant, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think this is the most dangerous guy in this lineup, and he's making a pro debut. I think he's the most dangerous guy in this lineup because he already has the size. He already has the structure. He just has to come in with the better posing, a little bit better posing, in my opinion. And then he's just got to bring a little bit more conditioning from the back, especially his glutes. And if he can do those things, he's gonna be right in that first call out in that possibly top five. I mean, this guy, he's put together, man. He's giant, but he's put together. He's not missing very little at all. So, in my opinion, this is the most dangerous guy in the lineup. He can to me, he can get as high as third, or he could be all the way down to 10th or 12th. That's why he's dangerous, is because he could fall anywhere in that group.
Yeah, definitely one of those guys who it's like a buy low, sell high. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's
Yeah.
a rookie, and nobody expects rookies to come out and make a huge statement. But I will say, rookies have made statements at some of these bigger shows like Tampa and Texas in the past,
Well,
and I could
there's
see
there's
this
a
guy
rookie
doing it.
in the, there's a rookie in the guy in this class that made his rookie noise last year, Ben Zimmerman.
Yeah, exactly.
He got top four at Texas. Nobody knew who he was, and now everybody knows who he is.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see it too. Dom is really good. Like he was, you know how guys just come out and you just say, "Wow, like that guy's
Yeah.
gonna win the show." That's when I was watching Universe, man. That's
It
what
was
I
a
said
wrap.
when I saw Dom.
It was a wrap.
Yeah, like just crazy, crazy gifted. And I know he's suffering right now. I've been paying attention to some of his posts on socials. He just posted something like today where he like was having trouble like putting his shirt on. He's like really pushing the condition hard and the
Yeah,
depletion hard. So
because that's what he needs. If he can bring that and just a little bit better posing, I mean, like I said, his ceiling is so high that you never know what this guy's going to do. I mean, that's
Mhm.
why he's so dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah, so that is the rookie Dom Carter making his pro debut. Speaking of rookies, we've got probably the best rookie right now in classic physique, one of the best in all of bodybuilding. This is Austin Espy. So Austin finished third in his pro debut at Chicago amongst a bunch of Olympians. Seventh at Tampa last week was not his best showing necessarily. So James, when we look at Austin, what are some of his strengths?
Austin and his strength. is his shape. And he has one of the gnarliest, I don't even know the word to describe it, shapes in the sport. I mean, he's gifted. He has excellent legs. He's got excellent vacuum on his poses with the abs and the front double bicep. Um, he's a very confident guy, and I think that helps him a lot. I think it does. Um, One of the things with Austin I enjoy the most is just like how much you can tell he wants this, and how much he cares, and that's something that a lot of guys don't express as much, and I wish more people did that because it is important. And it matters a lot. And when you care about something, you should be able to express yourself. So I like the fact that Austin expresses himself like that he wants this, and you can tell. But he puts the work in too. I mean, he does. You can look at his physique and see that. So um, I really like Austin. I think he's got a great shot here, and I'm excited to see what he's going to bring.
Yeah, likewise. It's kind of one of those things where there's a lot of volatility in terms of his potential placing. I could see him in that top five, but I could see him, maybe even being like ninth or tenth, just given how deep this lineup is. It's just kind of depending upon what his final look is and really just what the other guys bring, man. Because like I look at Austin and I mean, I was talking to people before he even turned pro, and we were saying like this is a guy who could step on stage, win a pro card, and immediately like be a challenger for a pro show. Which I mean, he took
Yeah.
some time off in between his Mr. USA win and his first show, the Chicago Pro. But like everybody's known this guy has it, and when you got it, you got
Yeah, he's one of those few guys that, as soon as you get your pro card, you might as well just do a pro show and see where you're at. Because I mean, he's got that gift in his shape and his structure, and I've personally know Austin. I've told him this. I was like, you're the future, man. You're a younger guy. I mean, you keep your head on straight. You are the future of the sport. You're going to be at the Olympias someday. You're going to be in that top 15 someday. You're on that path right now. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid.
it. Yeah, truly classic, man. That is Austin SB. Next up, we have another Texans. We've got Dino Estrada. So, Dino's last appearance was at the Texas Pro last year, I believe. So, I know he took seventh here last year. And Dino, though he is a shorter guy, definitely one of those guys who is just like, man, the shape is the thing that gets me, man. I love this guy's shape, dude.
Yeah, Dino's put together. I mean, he like you said, he's on the shorter side, but I mean, look how much muscle he packs on that frame. I mean, he look at the legs. I mean, he's got it. He's got great shape. He's got great structure. When his muscles are popping, I mean, he's very much volatile in this lineup.
Yeah, he could do some damage, man. It's really just kind of dependent upon um, what they're going for here, because sometimes in the comparisons, it's like if you stand next to the right guys, you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be the biggest guy to do some damage in classic, man. And Dino's shown that in previous shows, man. He's placed high in tough shows before, so
Yeah, and I mean he might not be too far off the stage from Dankovia. I mean those are two short guys, but I mean you have a bunch of short guys that are looking good. They might be leaning towards them. You have a bunch of tall guys that look good, might lean towards that. But I think we got a fair mix of short guys, tall guys, and we got the in between guys. So I mean I don't think there's going to be an advantage here based on height for anybody. I mean, because these short guys like Dino and they're put together, man. They're not slouches at all.
absolutely, brother. So that is Dino Estrada. Next up, we got Carl Gaultier out of Canada. So he is a French Canadian, I believe. So Carl's most recent update was today. This is 3 days out. He's one of those guys too, man. Like, so I don't know if you recall the years in previous Olympias where it was like people were getting on rough diesel for like, looking like he's not ready to go a week out. And like
Yeah,
when I look at Carl here, I think people will probably be like, oh, like I think the condition could be better. He was the most peeled guy at Toronto last year where he got second. and he's one of those guys who has good enough shape, and he's gonna pull hella water. Like I just know it.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
but just structurally, man, what do you think of Carl here?
I'll tell you what, he's one of those guys. I mean, these guys from Canada don't mess around. These Canadian guys, they come down here and make some noise. I mean, the reigning champ himself is Canadian. I mean, I don't know what it is in the water up there, but these guys come down from Canada and they make some noise. I mean, he's got great arms, excellent arms. I like his vacuum. I like his quads. He's got excellent, shaped legs. I mean, I'm not sure how tall he is, but I mean, he's pretty put together too. But I don't think he's on the taller side. So, like I said, he might be one of those in between short and tall guys. But I mean, he's right there. I mean, he's got a great, was that a teacup pose? Is that what they call that?
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's a great pose for him.
Yeah, Carl's one of those guys, man. Like last year going into Toronto, people were like, "Oh, he's not gonna do anything in this show." I'm like, you might want to reconsider." And nearly went to the Olympia last year. It's one of those guys who, man, I'll say it time and time again. Shows are not won on Instagram; they're won on the
No,
stage. And Carl's one of those guys who proves it, man. He looks good on Instagram, but he looks even better on stage.
and that's what you want to be. You want to be a dude that you speak your noise on stage, not on Instagram.
Yep, 100%. So that's Carl Gaultier out of Canada. Next up, we got Tommy Harmer-Tran. So he's making his pro debut. So he's out of the United States. He's a Texan, I believe. Turned pro back at North Americans in 2021. He's a shorter guy. He won Class A at that show. So James, just looking at these shots right here, we got a little, we got a side chest, kind of like a somewhat of like a classic side try kind of going on here. What can you tell about Tommy just from these couple of photos?
Well, just from these photos, I mean, looking at him right now, he's got some density to him. He's got some good density, um, some good thickness to him, and with how short he is, that's volatile. I mean, that's hard to deal with in this lineup, especially if you're a taller guy. When you got these shorter guys, the thicker, denser frames. I mean, if you're not filled out as a tall guy, someone like this will beat you. So I like his density. I think he's got excellent lines, um, good structure. I mean, he's put together.
Yeah, the thing that stands out to me, man, he's got that like bubbly kind of muscle too, dude. It's
Yeah,
it's really impressive. Like this side chest is nasty with the
yeah,
hamstring drop, the rear delt right there just popping off, man.
yeah.
Like crazy, crazy 3D in that upper body too, like big full chest too. And I'm sure he hasn't even like been loading carbs yet. So this look will probably transform even more.
Oh yeah.
So that is Tommy Harmer-Tran. Next up we got this is a guy who I just found out who he is recently. So this is George. I want to make sure I try to pronounce his name correctly. George Kowalawu. George, if you're watching this, man, I said your name incorrectly. I apologize, but doing my best. So George is a Liberian American, I believe. So George went to the 2021 Olympia, which is the photo you see right here. And I mean, you can tell why he was an Olympian. So we'll just take a look at some of these shots here. So we got the little front relaxed, which is a nice shot for him. Kind of transition shot there, back double bicep. James, when we look at some of these shots, man, you can tell why George went to the Olympia. What are some of the characteristics that probably got him there?
Oh, it's the legs. It's definitely the legs. I mean, he's got a set of legs on him that's very, very talented. I mean, look at his adductors from the back. I mean, that's rare. You see something like that. He's got, his glutes connecting down to his hamstrings. I mean, that's very, very rare to see legs like that, and that's what got him. I'll tell you right now, the success he has. So, he brings a look like this, he's going to be dangerous. I mean, look from the front. He's got those lines in his quads all the way up to his hip. I mean, that's dangerous right there.
Super small
I
waist
didn't know he was
too.
in the Olympia either till now. I thought, we had five Olympians, now we got six
Yeah, this guy could be, a dark horse, man. Very, very
for
dangerous, like
sure.
crazy lower body, like you said, man. Like you don't see like the lower half. You don't see a lower half like that in back poses, particularly with like the thickness through the glutes, hams, adductors. Like that's a nasty shot.
Yeah, from the back, I mean, it's lights out.
And then to pair that with like the great structure from the front, like George could really, really make some noise here. I mean, I know he's been away from the stage for 3 years, but who knows what kind of improvements he's made because
3 years is a long time. I
it's
mean,
a
he could have.
long, long time. Because we've seen it this year, man. There have been guys who they, I mean, they weren't even like perennial contenders years ago. I'm thinking of BJ
Yeah,
Carswell, who just won the Atlanta Pro. He hadn't won a pro show before. His last appearance, he was 15th at the Legion and took 2 years off the stage and boom, just like blew it out of the water, killed it at Atlanta. His just like, surprised people. And George went to the Olympia, so like who knows what we could even see from him, man.
yeah. He's
So
he's
much
gonna
of an
be a
improvement.
he's probably gonna be a surprise for all of us. But I'm looking forward to seeing how he does.
Yeah. So that is George Kowalowu. So next up, we got one of the favorites, I think, heading into this show. This is Laszlo Karaly from Hungary. So Laszlo finished 15th at the Olympia last year and has been to the Olympia a couple of times. Hasn't placed inside the top 10. And, he's one of those guys, man, just has tons of upside. James, you've seen his physique before, man. What do you think of Laszlo?
Laszlo's a big man. He's a very big guy. Uh, but to that point, I mean, he's filled out. And as a tall guy in classic, and I can speak for this, you have to be properly filled out to make noise in this division because of the shorter guys with their density and their shape. You got to be able to match that. So as a taller guy, I mean, he's filled out. He's got everything that you need. He's got legs. He's got huge arms, big chest, big back. Um, he's going to be a heavy favorite here.
Yeah, when I look at Laszlo, I think of ratios, man. The proportion is crazy, particularly with like the super wide clavicles, as well as the tiny waist, the big lats, the big quads to go all with it. And plus, he's like a tall guy too, man. So when you got that kind of structure as a tall guy, your eyes are drawn to it. And I think
Exactly.
Laszlo he's got to be in that conversation for the win here. He's going to be fighting for it, I think.
I agree. I think he's going to be right there.
So that is Laszlo Karaly out of Hungary. Next up, we got Jesus Martinez. So I believe we got another Texan. We just got a lineup full of Texans here. So Jesus was ninth at Texas State last year. So these are some stage shots from him. And just looking at Jesus here, James, what are some shots that you like from him?
I love his front double. I think he's very balanced, and that's again one of the hallmarks of a classic physique is how balanced you are. There's nothing that particularly stands out. Um, I love his conditioning. You can see the deep lines all over his body, all up into his abdominals. He's very well put together. That front double's nasty.
Just crisp lines too, man. Like I look at the abdominals, very, very good.
It's very edged in.
Core, yeah, very good lines through the quads, man. Like you can see everything there. Just like you said, man, very balanced. That's the thing that stands out to me, man. It's like the thing that stands out is that nothing stands out, which is like a
Exactly.
good
It's
thing.
like killing them softly with your physique.
Exactly, bro.
Killing them softly.
So that is Jesus Martinez. Next up, we've got one of the most anticipated rookie pro debuts of this year. So this is Mateus Menegate from Brazil. So he turned pro last year at the Olympia Amateur Brazil. He won Class D. So this is a taller guy as well. So that's also something to note. And James, like looking at these shots, dude, it's pretty
I
crazy,
mean,
right?
he's got some body parts on him that are they're like, wow. Look at his arms. Big biceps. Great vacuum. He's got great shape, really good X frame, and his back looks pretty wide. I mean, he's got a wide back. I mean, he's put together. I mean, he's got pretty much everything you're looking for. I don't know how far out these photos were taken, but I mean, if this is his conditioning right now, If he can bring even, cut a little bit more water, get a little bit leaner into the show, I mean, he's going to be dangerous.
Hmm. Yeah. And I look at his frame too, man. When I look at those lat insertions too, kind of the rounded lat insertions that
Oh, yeah.
insert like, kind of at a mid level, like those are very good lat insertions. It reminds me of like Urz's lat insertions as well, just kind of
Hmm.
how they like
That's a good comparison.
they're a little bit like rounded and they're not quite as like I think generally speaking, most guys have like a little bit more of like streamlined lats. Those are like rounded, which is like really cool. It creates this like extremely cartoonish effect, which I love that. And then like the side chest too, the striations through the anterior delt, like this you see the separation in the arm too. That's a hallmark of really good condition too. You see the lines through the glutes, hamstring is there too. You can tell he trains his hamstrings very well. Like this guy's pretty well put together and
Yeah,
who
his
knows what he
glutes
can
are in
do, man.
shape, and that's a big battle right there for some guys. So I mean, he's already there. I mean, he's right there. So I mean, he's in a good spot. He shows up peak properly on, I think they go on Saturday, right, Brant?
Friday.
Yeah, if he shows up, peaked properly on Saturday, I mean, he might end up in that first call up.
Yeah. So that is Mateus Medagate. Next up, we got Lamarcus Morris. So Lamarcus is making his pro debut. So he turned pro in Class C at USA's last year. And the the big thing with Lamarcus that stands out to me, man, is just width, dude. He takes up so much space.
Yeah, he's going to have a strong presence on stage whenever he gets up there. I mean, he's I'm a broken record sometimes, but he's put together, man. I mean, this guy, he's wide up top. He's got big legs. He's got big arms. I mean, like some of this is a broken record because all of these things are classic. It's part of classic physique. If you have certain things about your physique, you're going to be, uh, very competitive in this division, and he has those things. I mean, he's got great quads, he got great poses, and he's probably flat in these photos. So, carb up properly, peak properly. I mean, he's got a chance.
Yeah, he looks great, man. I love the guy's structure. Very clean look too, and great balance as well. Like everything, like great arms, great legs to go with it. The lats are there, tiny waist, broad shoulders, man. Like conditions there too. I'm
Look at that
sure
back.
the back looks gnarly, dude.
He got
Christmas
that
tree.
Christmas tree going on in July or August.
So that is Lamarcus Morris making his pro debut. Next up, another pro debut here. So this is Kennedy Onochi. So he turned pro. He won the Masters 35 overall at North Americans, I believe, in 2022, actually. So this is another one of Ray Baker's guys, and he's one of those guys who has like really just quality muscle that I can see from these updates.
Yeah, he brings that quality in his physique, and when he hits his shots, he definitely has excellent muscle quality. Maturity is what it is. You could tell he's been training for a long time. He's been doing this for a long time, and he's definitely a Ray Baker guy. I mean, Ray Baker brings guys in very well, and you can see the split on the side of his leg with the glute all the way down to the hamstring. I mean, he's in shape. He's got the lines. He looks like he's going to bring the conditioning. I mean, he's got some really great, dense, mature muscle to him.
Yeah, the quads are pretty impressive to me too, man. I look at the lines through the quads and the insertions are really, really cool looking too, man.
Yeah, he. I like his posing too. He looks very confident in his posing, um, and yeah, his shape is awesome. I like his transitions, and that's something that people forget in classic. You got to make sure you have good transitions between your poses. Um, you're not flopping around like a fish up there. You go you're fluid from one motion to the other, right?
Yeah. So that is Kennedy Onochi making his pro debut. Next up, we got Hamza Saeed. So this is Hamza here in the middle. Just nasty, nasty, grainy muscle, dude. This was at Vancouver where he took third. James, from what you've seen of Hamza, what are some of the things that stand out to you, dude?
Now this guy, he is dense and he's ripped. And the conditioning that this guy brings, I haven't seen that kind of graininess since probably the 2000s. And I mean, it reminds you of like that Dorian Yates graininess where you're just looking at a guy's skin and it's just like rippling and like you don't even need to flex. You just stand there. You're just grainy. Just that skin is just so tight to your muscle. This guy's conditioning is lights out. His density to his muscle, it's all over him and from his legs uh, to his upper body. I mean, he's got great abs. I mean, this guy, he got third at Vancouver for a reason. I mean, he was up there with Kellen and Sam, and those guys are big dudes, and he's a short dude. So again, this proves my point again, where the short guys, they don't have a disadvantage in classic. Come put together like these guys do, the Dankovias, Hamza, these guys, you come looking like that, you can do anything. He's right in the middle of two big guys throwing down, and he was in that top three for this show. So he's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, first call out at Chicago too, man. He's a guy you definitely don't want to sleep on. He will absolutely sneak up on you if you're not on your game because you know what he's bringing. It's that crazy
Oh, for
condition,
sure.
that crazy density. He's one of those guys who he just it's not the sexiest thing, but he's gonna just nail all of the things that you can control. He's gonna bring his best. He's gonna play his game, and that's how he does very, very well here
That's
in Classic.
exactly it. He plays
Yeah,
his game.
yeah.
That's exactly it.
So that is Hamza Saeed. We got Zach Smith here out of Australia. So Zach was fourth at the Orlando Pro, and this was his pro debut actually too, man. To be fourth in that lineup, crazy impressive. So when we look at Zach, who actually won this show last year as an amateur, what are some
Interesting.
things that stand out to you, man?
I mean, he's statuesque. That's what comes to mind when I look at him. He's almost like a damn statue. I mean, he's got everything. He's conditioning his lines, the separation in his muscles. I mean, from the front, from the back, from the side. I mean, he's complete. I don't know what to tell him to do to improve other than get bigger. I mean, I think that's the standard go-to line when there's not much else to tell you.
Yeah, exactly, man. He's just so balanced. The condition's good too. He's got
Look at
great
that ab
structure.
pose. His ab pose is probably his strongest pose, but it's nasty.
Yeah, and he's a tall guy too, man. Like definitely like eyes are drawn to him because he dude just takes up so much space on
Yeah,
stage. And with that structure too, man, like he's he's definitely a guy to watch in my opinion.
for sure, no doubt.
Yeah. So that is Zach Smith. Westermeyer, he was a 2022 Olympian, eighth at Tampa last week. And James, I know you've seen him in person. We've both seen him at the Pittsburgh Pro before, man. What stands out?
I love this guy. I think he's fantastic. He's from Germany. I've seen him win the Pittsburgh Pro back in 2022, and that's a big deal. You win the Pittsburgh Pro. So I mean, this guy, he's been there. He's been to the Olympia. He's battle tested. He's been in some of the biggest shows. He will not be someone backing down in this lineup, and uh, he's been there. He's done that. What he needs to do now is just bring another level of intensity to his training, his approach to the getting up on stage because he belongs at that Olympia. It's just how he gets there. So I mean, he reminds me of a smaller Dennis Wolf. Honestly, I mean he's just got that insane structure, very thick. I mean, and he's a humble guy to boot. So I really like Alex, and I think he's going to do well here.
Yeah, he's got good shape, man. That's the thing that stands out the most to me. Good shape, detail, crisp lines, good condition too. I think really just the only thing that he has to, look forward to in the future is just continuing to add size because he can stand toe to toe with just about anybody shape wise. It's just a matter of like putting the muscle on the specific body parts where it needs to go. And
And,
like with
and, and
that,
honestly,
great.
Brant, and I'm not. I'm not advising him or anything, but he might need to go to the Open someday because
So
he's
he
got
came
that.
down from Open
Oh,
actually.
he came down. I was about
Yeah.
to say he might want to go back because he could get bigger and just kill it in the Open. I mean, he's a big guy, big frame.
Yeah, man, it's tough because it's like you've seen people too who have like come down from Open and then gone back. Like the guy I think of is Florian from France. He did that. He had a brief stint here in Classic, but granted, he didn't go to the Olympia like Alex did. So
Yeah.
this guy's pretty damn good in his own right. So
Yeah, he is, and like I said, he's been there, he's done that, so he's not going to be timid in this lineup. He's not going to be afraid.
yeah, he's been with heavy hitters before and taking them out too. Pittsburgh Pro
Oh yeah,
champ.
he's
So
taken out quite a few people.
yeah, so that is Alexander Westermeyer. Next up, we got Gabriel Zoncanelli out of Brazil. Zonca took second last week at the Tampa Pro. One of Brazil's best, probably their second best classic physique athlete at the moment, only behind, of course, Ramon Dino. So when you look at Zonca, man, what are some of his best qualities?
I'll say this, I think he's the overwhelming favorite here. I think he is just, I mean, look at his legs from the back. Look how dense his legs are from his glutes all the way down to his hamstrings, adductors. I mean, he's dense, but he's also got a very aesthetic physique. Some of these guys get dense and they kind of lose the aesthetics of their look. He doesn't have that problem. He's got huge arms. He's got perfectly balanced physique, but also big at the same time. I mean, he's the total package. And you said he's the second best Brazilian. He Ramon Dino might want to watch his back because this guy's coming. I'll tell you.
Yeah, he only gets better every year, man. Like this guy just keeps moving up. He's a winner, and he very well could win this show, man. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
fun one to watch. So our last guy is a Texan himself, Ben Zimmerman. So Ben, you mentioned him earlier, man. One of the best up and comers here in Classic. He was sixth at Tampa last week. Lights out with the condition, man. So when we think of Ben, what are some of the things that he's really good at?
Conditioning. It's not even close. Ben is conditioning. I mean, I know Ben personally. I've trained with Ben. He's got the conditioning. He brings that graininess, the lines. I mean, uh, I can't speak highly enough about this guy. He's got just amazing shape, great legs. I mean, and from the back, his back shot, that rear double bicep is lights out. He might have the best rear double bicep in this lineup, and that's a strong statement. I mean, him and Gabriel right neck and neck with each other right here.
Yeah, Ben's one of those guys, dude. I got so many good things to say about him just because he's another one of those guys, man. He ain't an Instagram bodybuilder.
No,
He's a
he's
stage
not,
bodybuilder, and I
and
love
and
that, dude.
I love it. I love it because he knows that it doesn't matter what you do on social media. What it matters what you do on stage, and I love that about him. He's a very humble guy. He puts his head down. He works. He doesn't need to shout from the rooftops what he's going to do. He just does it, and I love that about him.
Yeah, and one of those guys too, man. He stacks up very well shape wise. I gotta commend him, man. You can tell him and David have really worked on the posing as
Oh yeah,
well. Like it's his posing has gotten so much better over the past year too. And Ben is just crazy balanced, man. It's really just like time. Time is all he needs, and he's gonna be
yeah,
right up there, like winning these shows. So
yeah. He's another one of those guys where the sky's the limit for him. I mean, he gets everything, put together in his life, and he's gonna be lights out. Olympia, top 15 at the Olympia someday. I mean, that's to say the least, in my opinion.
yeah. So that is Ben Zimmerman. All right, so now we are going to get into the best part of the show. We got James and I making our top five picks right here. And I think we'll preface this, James, with it was extremely difficult, wasn't it, man?
Yes, it was extremely difficult. I mean, I had a hard time last night coming up with a top five. I know I have a clear top eight, but getting to that top five, it was a struggle. And I think you told me you changed your thoughts here.
Yeah, I definitely switched my picks up as we were going through this. So without further ado, I think we'll do I kind of like the alternating thing. So it's like
Okay.
we'll each do our like I'll do fifth or you can do fifth first and then we'll switch and then we'll go down to one.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you my fifth place.
Let's do it,
Um,
brother.
and in my fifth place here, I have Alex Cambronero, and I have him in fifth. I believe he's going to be very hard to beat in this lineup. I'm just the thing that holds me back from placing him higher than fifth is the conditioning. I'm not sure what kind of conditioning he's going to bring because these top four guys that I have, they're lights out with conditioning, and we all know conditioning kills in the sport. So that's the only thing that holds me back from placing him higher, but he's definitely in that top five to me.
All right, so Alex Cambronero is James's fifth place pick. I got Ben Zimmerman in fifth place. I love Ben's physique, man. Just gonna be probably the most conditioned guy in the lineup. Actually, not probably. He's gonna be the most conditioned guy. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
And Ben's just super, super classic, man. Just like great structure, well put together. It's really just at this point, and what we saw at Tampa last week is just like, I think size was the feedback. I think they just wanted him to be bigger, particularly in like, certain poses. I'm trying to remember what he told me the feedback was, but I mean, Ben just needs more time, and like I said, I think Ben, could win shows like this in the future. But I think he's still going to be in the mix. He's good enough to be in the mix in this lineup. I got him in fifth.
Okay. Might go into my fourth.
Yes, sir.
You might as well go back to that shot because I have Ben Zimmerman fourth.
All
I
right.
think I think he's gonna bring a much fuller look to the show, and I think it's gonna help elevate him. I know he got fourth at this show last year, so I hope if that happens here, he doesn't take that as a defeat. I think it's a win because this lineup is sick. I think it's stronger than last year's. So I have Ben in fourth. I think his conditioning is going to carry him, especially with that fuller look.
All right. So Ben in fourth place for James. My fourth place pick, this might surprise some people. I'm going to go Laszlo in fourth. A lot of people have him in
Ooh.
contention for the win. I think he's going to be in fourth for a couple of reasons, and this is only because I think, and also the fact that it froze on that pose is hilarious. He was just like looking all derpy in there. But I got Laszlo in fourth simply because it's like, man, if you read this caption, been awake for 30 hours, luggage was lost, everything that he needed for peak week was in his suitcase. You add that to the equation, that's the huge cortisol spike. I just think
Yeah,
it was a shitty start to the week, and as much as you hate to like make a prediction based on that, I don't think we're gonna see his best here. To be honest with you, I think he'll probably be at about 90%, and I don't think 90% is good enough to win this show personally. Just from what I've seen in terms of like
how
how
competitive the
good
show
these
is.
other guys are, like
Yeah.
he's got to be 100% to win. So I
See, you have that insider information. That's not fair. I didn't know that.
so I got Laszlo in fourth.
Alrighty. So I'm moving on to my third place guy. In third, I have the Black Panther, Dinkovia Anderson.
Yeah, just crazy classic, dude.
I think he's just got this, the statuesque look, and for the shorter guys out there, if you look at this top five, everybody's taller than him, but he's so put together, and you know you have the opportunity as a short guy to do anything in this sport. I don't believe in that tall guys have the advantage. I don't at all. This guy, he's gonna bring it, and I think he's gonna do very well. I think he's gonna get third.
Yeah, so I also have him in third. Now, I want to say this though, if he brings that look that he brought to finals last week, he could win this show.
Yeah,
without a doubt in my mind.
I don't doubt that either.
I think Danny is just personally, I think he's probably the most complete guy in this lineup. It's just figuring out that peak, dude. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I mean, last week, and this is no exaggeration. If he would have showed up with the same condition as Justin, that would have been a really hard show to judge.
Oh yeah,
That's just my opinion.
for
Um,
sure.
or condition or hardness. Probably hardness is the better word because I think he was in
Yeah.
condition. It was just a hardness thing. So I got Danny there in third place.
All right. In second place, I have Laszlo. I think he is just such an overpowering presence on stage with his structure and his size, um, and the conditioning he brings. He looks like he's going to be very grainy. Um, you got these international guys coming to do these shows. They're not playing around. And I don't, I didn't know about his mishaps this week, but I'm hoping he can overcome those things and land where I think he should, which is second place.
All right, so Laszlo Corrali in second for James. My second place pick is going to be Gabriel Zoncanelli, if I could find him. Gabriel Zoncanelli out of Brazil. Like this guy, I love this guy's physique, man. He's just super balanced. That's the thing that strikes me the most when I look at him is just he's got no weak points. Really, the only thing that I would say is his downfall ever is one thing that he can't control, and that's his width. That's it. He just if he had broader shoulders, this guy's Mr. Olympia. Like he's crazy good, man. And everybody's seen the photo with him standing next to C-Bomb. It's just the clavicles, man. That's the only thing I think that holds him back a little bit. Um, Now, what I will say here is I think the guy who beats him is just going to have more mature muscle. And you said condition's the key. I think this guy is actually going to be more conditioned simply because we've seen it in the past. So I'm also going off of prior Olympia data. So if you look at my picks, they go in the exact order. These guys all went to the Olympia last year. This goes in the exact order of how they placed at the Olympia last year. So I got Zonka in
Well,
second.
in my first place winning the show, I picked Zonka here. I think he's going to uh, be the winner. Um, I just think he's an unstoppable force at this point. Um, you know, Getting a close call at Tampa, which I thought was a close call. A lot of people thought Justin ran away with that. I didn't see it that way. I thought Justin definitely deserved that win, but Zonka was right there. I mean, it wasn't a runaway victory. You know what I mean? It was very competitive. So I think he's going to take this show. Um, I think he's in line to go to the Olympia. Well, he's already qualified, but I mean, this is going to be the icing on the cake before he gets there, in my opinion.
All right, so Gabriel Zoncanelli is James's winner. You ready? You ready for my pick?
Yeah, this is where the suspense comes because I'm like, okay, who has he got? Because all my top five, he's got the same top five except for the winner. So
So I think people are sleeping. They're sleeping. I think Alex Carbonero is going to win the show, dude. I swear to
got you.
God, he was 12th at the Olympia last year, and if we look at the placings of these guys, if we assume that they've all improved at the exact same rate,
Yeah.
Zonka was 13th
Yep.
and Laszlo was 15th. Alex was
Alex is
12th.
12th. Yep.
So I'm making the
I knew
assumption
exactly where you were going with that.
that so if you assume they all improved at the same rate, Alex should win here, assuming that this is judged, by Tyler and Steve.
Yeah, you're
So
going with the logical choice, which I understand your pick, and I do get it. I just think Zonka just has improved at a much greater rate. That's why
yeah,
I'm picking first here. And Alex, I have him fifth. I just don't know what kind of conditioning he's going to bring, and that's the reason I have him there. He's definitely in that top group. It's going to be what version of him shows up.
yeah, for me, I mean, I look at this guy and he's lights out peeled every time he steps on stage, dude. I've
Yeah.
never seen a bad version of Alex Carbonero. Like I've never seen him off. And Neil Hill is known for bringing his guys in peeled. This guy's got the most mature muscle. He's got great shape, very very balanced. And again, he's a shorter guy, but he's classic as hell, man. I'm gonna go with Alex Cambronero for the win, baby.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, if he brings that conditioning, he absolutely can win the show. If he brings the conditioning that he's known for, yeah, he can definitely do it.
Yeah. So this is how deep the show is. James and I with all sorts of different picks. And I mean, this is the thing too. James and I share many of the same opinions. We talk bodybuilding all the time. Like James and I are always talking about classics. So like the fact that we have such a different like order of the top five tells you just how awesome this lineup is, guys.
Yeah, I mean, we got the same guys. It's just the shuffled order.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, even that in itself, man, it's just like anything can happen.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But I think we got the right group. We just got to see who had the right order.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, brother. So those are our picks. And before we get out of here, again, want to give a big shout out to James for taking the time to just talk some classic bodybuilding and preview the show with me. So make sure you guys support James. Give him a follow here. It's James Anthony underscore IFBB Pro. And use his codes as well. Support him in that regard. And before we get out of here, James, want to make sure that as a special guest, you have the floor. What's going on in your life, man? Are there any shout outs you want to give? Anybody you want to say hi to?
Well, obviously, want to say hi to my girlfriend Lexus Redmond. Uh, we will be hopefully competing together next year. I'll be making my pro debut, and hopefully, she'll be doing the bikini show in that pro debut. So, very excited for next year. You know, being a pro is something that I only dreamed of, and I was fighting for so long, and finally came through. So it's almost destiny now. I feel like the show I think I'm going to do my pro debut at. Um, so it's going to be an exciting next few months. Move to Vegas. Love living out here, and Olympia is going to be here in a couple months. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, man, I'm just working, training hard, and hopefully improving so that when I do my pro debut, I can be on this show and you guys are talking about me.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm sure we will, man. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you hit the pro stage. It's been a long time coming, man. And
Yes,
it
sir.
was an absolute pleasure having you on today, brother. It's always fun to just talk bodybuilding with some buddies, man.
Yeah, man, and Brand, I love your channel. I love how it's dedicated to our division, and you give great publicity to our division. Classic is something that when it came out in 2016, I had people texting me, calling me, sending me messages. Did you see what the NPC just did? This is you. This is your division. And I was like, oh my God. And it only took me 7 years to realize it. But I didn't turn pro till 2023. But I love this division. I love this sport, and there's nothing like it.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. So I want to thank you guys again for watching the best channel in men's classic physique. So I'm Brant, and that's James signing out. Make sure you guys keep it classic. We'll catch you later.